You have zero sex drive. Zero. You don't think about sex, you don't want it, you don't have enough energy to even muster up the mental capacity to even consider it. Alright guys, this is gonna be the 5 ugly truths of competing, and it's a lot of truths that you probably won't hear about on social media, just because on social media people like to portray this like super awesome shredded lifestyle, show day photos where you look at your best. You've probably manipulated all the variables. Your tan makes you look like you're glowing, you look healthy, you feel healthy, you're buzzing because you're absolutely jacked on adrenaline on the show day. On social media, all you see is the nice side, and then afterwards you see all the nice pictures of the fast food, the eating whatever you want, post-show binge or treat yourself. It depends on how you see it. Most of the time it's a binge. You don't see the ugly side to competing. So if you are sat here watching this video and you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to compete at the end of this year or in 2021, competing is a life-changing decision, at least for the short-term period that you're prepping for it. So the more you can know in advance, the more informed decision you can make on whether you want to get down to this, let's straight up say it, an unhealthy body fat level. Let's not waste any more time and let's get into these 5 ugly truths of getting just extremely lean, whether that's for a competition or for a photo shoot or for just getting absolutely shredded for your IB for holiday.
Seen them, look cool.
These are things you should look out for. The overarching issue with getting to this state, your body's always looking for this little balancing point, and you're always kind of doing that. You'll have like a bit of a binge week and then you won't eat as much one week, and you're kind of just floating between this, but the margin is always small. Now what you're doing at competing, you're making this margin massive. The swing is massive, so the main reason for all these 5 truths is because of that. So truth number 1. The social side is probably the most impactful side that you're going to notice. Competing in a bodybuilding, you have to do things that not a lot of people would be willing to do, and you have to do a lot of things that are considered weird, right? You're going to be a weirdo, and when I say that, I mean if you do go out, you've got to deal with the implications, like you can't drink alcohol. And I know a lot of people say, well, if you make room in your macros, you can probably slip in like a shot or 2 of whatever spirit. But at the end of the day, you get to the point where you would rather eat the extra 25 grams of carbs than have a shot of gin. And it's really sad to say that. You'd rather just drink water, and that's the kind of level it gets to, and it's not great. It's not ideal for your social life because it's kind of non-existent.
You've got no friends!
It is a really hard thing to deal with, that you can't get involved and celebrate with friends and family with significant events like a marriage, and you can't just have a drink. You can't just eat the buffet food or the nice food that they've made for you because you don't know what they've put in it. You're there with your pre-made Tupperware, and it's not great, mate. It's not ideal. It's a big sacrifice. So that is the number 1 thing you really have to know, and that is your social life goes down the drain, and there's nothing you can do about it if you really want to get in that shape. If you are going to continue to compete anyway, what I would say is I would at least sit down with your friends and your family and let them know what you're committing to and what that means for your social life and your life in general with them, and then at least they are prepared for what's coming ahead. Ugly truth number 2 is going to be your mental state in general throughout the prep. and how you view food. The further into your prep you go, the more that your mind is focused on food and focused on the fact that you're hungry all the time, and that just takes over your brain. So even though you consciously know what you're doing, you consciously understand that you're doing this to lose weight, but subconsciously in your mind it's still thinking, I'm literally like slowly dying. I'm slowly dying, and if I kept this up for a year I'd be dead. And it can be annoying because you've got things that you want to concentrate on, like your relationships with your friends and family, your work. Food starts to come in and like shoulder barge things out the way and gets into your mindset. That is a more so of an ugly truth after your competition. It's easy to kind of bat away the fact that you're thinking about food all day because you're so focused on this one goal to get in that shape on that day for that competition. And when it's over, your mental state and your food obsession can really come back and just completely shaft you from the other side when you're done.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Especially if you're not ready for it. That is probably the one thing that took me by surprise, is my mental state and food obsession. I usually have pretty strong will in terms of my discipline, but I did not realise how much I'd set myself up for an absolute Chuck Norris roundhouse kick to the face in terms of a mental and eating disorder. It was bad. I will definitely do a full video on food obsession and mental state during a prep, and even more especially after a prep, because it just takes you by storm. I cannot emphasize this enough. You need to prepare yourself. It is ugly. I'm not even gonna lie, like, I'm just gonna say it straight up to this camera. I'm not proud of it, but I was 215 when I started my last prep. I came on stage at 185, which is a nice 30 pounds of weight lost. But you would not believe how little control I had after that show day. But I didn't have the plans in place that I am going to do this time. But from 185, I went all the way to 235 pounds. I got fat.
Look at me, I'm a big fat slob. I've got bigger titties than you do. I've got more chins than a Chinese phone book. I've not seen my willy in 2 years, which is long enough to declare legally dead.
It was not ideal, mate. It was not great. I went from the best shape of my life to the worst shape of my life within 5 months. And it's a bad cycle. It's like your mental state is screwed and you eat shit that feeds in to fuck your mental state again. And then that mental state feeds back into the food obsession where you're kind of just like, I can't help it, I've fucked it now anyway, I've lost my abs, like what's the worst that can happen? Then you gain more weight and it's just a circle of absolute mental whirlwind travesty, and you do not want to get caught up in it because it is fucking hard to get out of it.
I eat because I'm unhappy. And I'm unhappy because I eat. It's a vicious cycle.
But then once you get to that really heavy state, it is a nightmare for many reasons. You know what? I need to shut up and make that a second video because there are so many things I can talk about with post-competition, mental state and food obsession. So I'm just gonna stop right there.
You're like a child. Talking, if you just one time.
Zip it.
Point number 3. On the ugly truth. The decrease in enjoyment of the gym. It's not like the worst ugly truth out of all 5, but it is, when you think about it, a really, really sad one, because you absolutely love going to the gym. You love going to the gym and you're so into your fitness to the point where you are passionate enough to compete on stage in front of people. So to lose the enjoyment for the gym because you're so low on calories and energy, and you feel like the gym becomes a chore rather than a hobby that you just love to do. And it's just really sad because you end up getting to a point where you're just going in there brain dead. You don't have any motivation or energy, and all you want to do is just do the motions and get it out of the way. If you're coming out of the gym and you're saying, oh, like, that's just one more workout down until show day, or oh, I've only got 3 leg days left now, I'm just like praying that they go quick. It's just not a great mindset to be in. You should love the gym, and it's not nice to see that happen. That is especially something that is hidden, and a lot of people don't know about that, because all you guys see on Instagram when people are prepping for competition is you see their gym mirror selfies in like the best light possible. They've just done a chest and biceps workout and abs routine, so they're already pretty pumped. The lighting makes them look like 2% body fat, and you see them and they look happy, they're absolutely shredded, everything looks perfect. There's probably some filters on there, and they're probably high on like pre-workouts and stims, and they may have had like a decent meal literally just before the gym. But trust me guys, in between sets and for most of your sets, you feel like utter garbage. Your strength is just out the window. You have no motivation in the gym, and only thing you see on social media is a one clip photo from a good pose with good lighting with a pump. Ugly truth number 4 is your loss in energy in general. And when I say that, I mean everything you do in your life at a certain point in prep becomes an absolute chore and hard work. You wake up, getting out of bed's a chore. You've got your morning cardio, feels like a chore. Then you've got to get ready for work, that feels like a chore. Everything is low energy. And I found this personally, like not everybody's gonna find this, but for me personally, I found that my legs ached every second of the day. All I wanted to do was just lie down and do absolutely nothing. You can literally just about sum up enough energy to do your cardio, whatever that was, and do your workout. Those are the only 2 things you cared about getting done. Once that was done, everything else was just, I can't be arsed. Your lack of energy, physically and mentally, just translate how you express yourself to others. So a lot of people probably start asking you if you're okay, you know, you don't seem well, you don't seem happy. And that's true, like you are genuinely not happy. Your body is not happy with what you're doing, and your mind is not happy with how it's feeling, but you know you're doing it for a purpose and you follow through, and that's discipline. But you are lower on energy and you are lower on happiness. The final ugly truth of them all, and it's probably the one that a lot of people don't talk about just because it's a bit of an awkward subject, but guys, you have a massive loss of sex drive. You have 0 sex drive. 0.
It's not okay! Why don't you start?
It's Tara.
Oh, cool.
She says never contact her again.
You don't think about sex, you don't want it, you don't have enough energy to even muster up the mental capacity to even consider it. And this is something, I guess people mentioned it, but it really does hit you when it hits you. You know it's out there, but you just don't think it's going to happen to you. If you have a significant other, you need to make sure you set expectations with them and let them know what this commitment is, how it's going to affect everything in your relationship, and especially the sex drive. Depends on how like intense your diet and your prep is. If you're single, it's not as bad because you don't have a social life anyway, so you probably won't go out and find someone to, you know, spend time with.
What a loser.
Personally, like, without getting into too much detail, I was single throughout my last prep, and because of that it was somewhat easier because I didn't really go out that, well, you just don't really want to go out as much, so I never found myself in any bad situations, but it is kind of scary to look back and think, wow, like for the past 10 weeks I've literally not thought about anything sexual. Now, I didn't want to make this a long video, but I thought I couldn't really make a big video about bashing competition prep. One, because I'm going to do it at the end of this year anyway, so that's kind of, you know, why am I doing it again if I know what I know now? I'm going to really quickly go through some pros. One is that you look good in terms of the social like norm of what a good body is. People will probably compliment you that you look amazing in the gym, but that can obviously massively backfire, that if you fuck yourself over post competition and get really fat, it can cause really negative issues by doing that. But anyway, at that point in time when you're competing, you just look good, so it's nice. The second pro is only really relevant if your business is in fitness and you're shredded. Then obviously you'll get more social media interaction, more followers, subscribers on YouTube, whatever. You're probably more likely to get more sponsorships, affiliates, you know, all this stuff. There's like a lot of business around with it. Then usually it does help you to gain financially. But I'm saying this is only for people that work in fitness. If you're like me and you do a standard day job at a desk, it's probably not a pro for you. And the third pro is that it is a fantastic test of discipline. I have a totally different perspective now, and if I ever meet anyone that has competed previously, I automatically have a respect for a level of motivation and discipline that they have. And apart from that, you've just got to be a little bit sick in the head to want to compete again.
Maybe I'm a little fucking crazy. That's right. Maybe Jeremy's a little nuts.
It's not made for most people, but some people do find enjoyment in the really structured lifestyle and the process and the grind that is the prep. Those are the 5 ugly truths of competing. I really hope you found this useful. If you're thinking of competing for the first time, these are things that you definitely need to consider. It is a grim and ugly sport in some ways, and it's really impactful on all aspects of your life, not just your fitness. So making sure that the people around you that you love and you know what you're getting yourself in for. If you like this video, I would massively appreciate if you smash the thumbs up button. The more likes I get on this video, the more I'll probably do a video on the post-show rebound, mental state, food obsession side of prep. And if you want to see more of these kind of videos, definitely smash that subscribe button, because I will definitely be coming out with more videos on competition prep, seeing as I'm right now 14 weeks out from my next competition. But until then guys, take it easy and I'll see you in that next video. Peace.